Phoebe?
You are live, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. It's July is it the 17th?
12th.
Geez, all right.
Just the 12th.
Yeah. No, yeah. Interesting. Okay, 17th on the annotated agenda. Do I have the right one? So the meeting is on Zoom. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and I'm going to make sure we have who we need. Deputy Mayor, outfit.
Good morning, and I'm here.
All right. A little scratchy there, Tim, but thank you. Councillor Blackburn is going to join us shortly. Councillor Morse.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor, and everyone on the call. I'm present, counted for.
Councillor Russell.
Good morning, everyone, from wonderful Lower Sackville.
Councillor Mason. Councillor Mason, you there?
Oh, yeah, just rejoined, got dropped there. Hello, everybody. Instably connected from District 7. Happy to be here.
Good to see you. Nice to see you at your old stomping grounds in Dartmouth on the weekend, picking up some health food for the family. That's awesome. Councillor Hensby.
Good morning, all, and happy Orangeman Day for those brethrens in Newfoundland and Labrador.
All right. Kelly Dente.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
John Traves.
Mayor.
Good to see you. And Phoebe Rye, our Deputy Municipal Clerk. Who else is? Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
And I see Ian and others on the call as well. Approval of the minutes. Is there minutes to approve? I think there is. May 31st. Does somebody want to consider that?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councillor Hensby, seconded by
I'll second that.
Councillor Russell. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Then that shall be carried. The approval of the order of business. I think it's Madam Deputy Clerk, you've indicated to me that our special guest is not able to join us. So we will not be having that presentation this morning, correct?
Yes, that's correct. There was to be a presentation regarding experiences of visibly Muslim women in the Canadian context. The presenter is unable to attend the meeting today, but would like to be rescheduled. So we'll look to connect with them and get that on a future agenda.
Okay. Is there anything else in terms of the order of business, Phoebe?
Not from the clerk's office.
Council? Does somebody want to move the order of business as amended?
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Russell, seconded by Deputy Mayor. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is our agenda. Business arising out of the minutes, none. A declaration of conflicts of interest. I will not be taking part or voting on item number I believe it's the first one, which is 14.1. Just going to confirm which one it is.
Yeah, I think it's 14.
Tim, your audio's coming across choppy. You may want to cut off your video. And apply for some broadband investment funds for Bedford.
14.2.
All the money goes to Robert Harbor.
Item
Is
14.
that any better?
Little bit. 14.2.1, I will not take part in. The deputy mayor will take
What?
the chair for that one. Anybody else? Item 6, motions of reconsideration, none. Motions of rescission, none. Deferred business, none. Tabled matters, none. Correspondence, Madam Clerk.
There's no correspondence received by the clerk's office for today's meeting.
Thank you. Petitions. Petitions. Presentations is, we're going to move to another date. Information items brought forward. None. Reports, regional plan review 12.1.1, themes and directions report. And I see that we have Kate Greene is here and her colleagues. So welcome, Ms. Greene. We have a presentation and I hand the floor over. I'll hand the floor over to you.
Thank you. Do you see the presentation?
Yeah. Yes.
Great. All right. Well, thank you for having us here today. And my name is Kate Greene, and I've also am here with Leah Perrin on the call today. This is the core team working on the regional plan. Here are many of the folks who have contributed to this plan, our steering committee and key contributors across the organization. There are lots who've participated in our work up to now, so we wanted to acknowledge them. For members of the public who are watching this, I know many members of the committee have heard this before, but for members of the public watching, we're visiting the Executive Standing Committee today because we're reviewing the regional plan, and it means we're evaluating our land use policies and making sure that they represent the direction that Council would like to set. We are contemplating how the municipality is physically organized and growing, and we kicked off this phase of engagement on May 20th, and we're accepting public comments until July 16th. So to step back a little bit, the regional plan is a strategic document, and it's the first planning document adopted after amalgamation that provided a region-wide vision for land use. It was first adopted in 2006 and provided a comprehensive outline of how growth and development should take place between really 2006 and 2031. This is an overview of our timeline and represents the progression of the regional plan. So in 2006, we approved the first regional plan. We did a review of that in 2014. That was called RP+5. We don't have any special names for this review. It's just called the Regional Plan Review, and we're aiming to complete our document in 2022 and have that out for public review. The end of this plan horizon was anticipated to be 2031, but we're already starting to look towards a longer term timeline in 2050 in assessing our population and how we're growing. So the theme and direction document outlines the key ideas and planning issues we'll address in the review, and it's a chance to step back and ask everyone, do we have it right? And are we really headed in the right direction? So the feedback provides focus for our work and for Council and the team as we move forward with the actual document. These are our 11 themes. I won't read them out to you today, but you can delve deeper into these on our website, which is shapeyourcityhalifax.ca/regional-plan. And today we're going to be focusing on topics that are relevant to the Executive Standing Committee's terms of reference: emergency management and accessibility. So the regional plan has an important role to play in our work in making HRM a city for people of all abilities, ages, and backgrounds. Regional Council recently approved the accessibility strategy, and the regional plan review will support that ongoing work. Our planning and development regulations address a wide range of physical accessibility issues, including access to buildings, the design of the buildings themselves, how our streets and sidewalks are organized, the location of barrier-free parking, signage, and wayfinding. Our strategic Planning can also support accessible active transportation routes, accessible taxi services, and accessible transit. Our planning policies also support how we run our public engagement activities in an inclusive and accessible way, and direct that we partner with community to learn from others' experiences and to help to improve the work we do and the services we deliver. Another major role of the Executive Standing Committee is to act as the Emergency Management Advisory Committee. So the regional plan has a role to play in supporting the actions called for in Halifax, particularly as it relates to climate change hazards and impacts, especially in vulnerable communities. As climate change events become more extreme and occur more frequently, we can expect more disruptions and damage to our critical infrastructure systems, which include energy, telecommunications, transportation, water supply, wastewater treatment, solid waste management, buildings and food systems. So we want to take action to proactively protect and strengthen our critical infrastructure and improve community resilience. The municipality can really take a leadership role in identifying current and future climate hazards and critical infrastructure that may be at risk to extreme events. And once we've identified those risks, we'll develop strategies to mitigate them. The regional plan can include policy to prioritize resiliency measures and require that we build back better. For example, where we know there will be significant risk from sea level rise and extreme water levels on our coast, land use policy can direct important infrastructure away from these areas. Where we are regularly planning for new development in our communities, regional plan policy can require that we consider emergency management and climate hazard projections early in the development process. And finally, last but not least, when we think about emergency management, we would be remiss not to mention public health. COVID-19 has had major short-term impacts. And through the regional plan review, we're also going to be considering that certain aspects of society may shift for an extended period or indefinitely. Indicators of societal change may include how and where people work and attend school, comfort levels regarding social gatherings, housing form preferences, whether they be single or multi-unit housing, high density or low density, even access to open space. Changes to how people move throughout the region could be affected, and the importance of outdoor and public spaces and active transportation networks certainly we've seen over the course of the pandemic. We've really seen a major shift to where people work that could significantly impact employment areas and change our commuting patterns. There's been increased demand in the housing market for larger homes over the course of the pandemic, especially with the backyards where people want to have extra space to work from home. The regional plan will continue to monitor trends in all of these areas, working from home, housing form preferences, where people choose to live, and commercial and office vacancy rates, and will aim to develop flexible land use policy and regulations that can adapt to changing conditions. So this is our key contact information, and we're happy to take any questions or comments today. Again, our website for the public, www.shapeyourcityhalifax.ca/regional-plan, our email, regionalplan@halifax.ca, and our phone number 902-233-2501. Thanks very much for your time.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. All right. We're getting feedback from somebody. Okay. All right. Is there questions that anybody has on the presentation? Most of us have seen this at other venues.
I have a question. In regards to the deadline being July 16th, will there be an opportunity for other public input? For instance, local chambers of commerce in the rural areas may want to have an opportunity to make a presentation. Who can they do that to, and when?
Yes, we're happy to provide presentations to that group through the chair to the councillor, and they can get in touch with us through the email address I listed. And we're aiming to try and get all that done by July 16th, but if someone needed to go over a little, we're happy to accommodate that.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, Councillor Mason.
I see Councillor Trace has his hand up too. I'm not sure if that's a comment or error.
Yeah, I don't see anybody in the chat. I see hands, and then I see.
I put the hands up. Oh, there, he took his down. I put the hand up because John did, and then because I forgot we're supposed to use the chat. Sorry, Mr. Mayor. So I want to follow up on what Councillor Hensby said. Nice to see you, Ms. Greene, as always. So I have gotten some preliminary feedback from people asking if there would be when there would be a further engagement, especially with as approaching phase 4 and phase 5 of COVID management and being able to meet face to face. I've heard some concerns about the survey design and statistical validity and that it felt, the way one person put it to me, this isn't me, that it felt a little bit like a push pull. So I feel like this is such an important piece of work that I'd love to hear that we're going to go back out into the communities, and especially with the other pieces, the stakeholder groups. So I'm wondering if you could kind of talk about what the plan is to what made the 2014 so strong, I think, was the routine face-to-face engagement and a lot of stakeholder meetings, both with staff, but also, and we're not doing it this way this time, with CDAC, right? And we've decided to use CPED as the standing committee for that, but I'm wondering whether or not we should be inviting groups to come and present to CPED. I'm not on CPD anymore, sorry, CPED, to make those presentations as well, right? To get things formally on the agenda. So I'm wondering if you could comment on all that.
Through the chair to the councillor, thanks for your question. Certainly, this is just the first round of engagement. So after we compile all our engagement, that's part of this area. No.
It's freezing up. You may want to turn your video off.
Got to tell everybody else in the house to stop microwaving.
Am I still with you? Sorry.
You're back.
You're back now.
Okay, my power flickered. My apologies.
Right.
Can I continue answering the question? Can you hear me? Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
We're hearing you now. Go ahead, Kate.
Okay. This is, one round of engagement. Certainly as we release the draft plan, there'll be another round of engagement with the public and lots of meetings. And we're really, we will meet with people in person, as we're able to under public health guidelines and as sort of the municipality sets our standards for how we want to meet in person. So we're happy to do that. We do have a robust round of stakeholder engagement planned for this round of when we're searching for feedback here on the theme and direction report. So we are meeting with stakeholders over July and August. So anyone who wants to meet with, we want to meet with them and are happy to arrange meetings. So if you have heard from people that they would like to meet with us, we're happy to make those connections. And in terms of the survey, it is meant to be a little bit more qualitative in nature to give council a sense of how people are thinking and feeling because of the nature of the regional plan and how broad it is. It's not meant to delve into detail in the way that a statistically relevant survey would. So it is qualitative in nature, I guess, the way it's set up, because we're really at the visioning stage of our work.
Thank you.
You're good, Councillor? Anybody else? All right. This is a big piece of work, Kate, for you and the whole team, and we appreciate the diligence and the consultation, reconsiderations, and all that that goes into it. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
John, Councillor Russell had mentioned to me you had your hand up, and Councillor Mason as well. Did I miss you on something of critical importance? John? I'll assume not. Okay. We will go on to item 12.1.2, which is Councillor Code of Conduct, operational issues. Council, what is your wish? Committee, what is your wish?
Happy to move that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Mason.
I move that Executive Standing Committee recommend that Halifax Regional Council adopt the amendments to A, Administrative Order 49, Settlements of Claims Administrative Order, B, Administrative Order 50, Disposal of Surplus Real Property Administrative Order, C, Administrative Order 52, Code of Conduct Elected Officials, D, Administrative Order 2018-004 ADM, the Real Property Transactions Policy, and E, the Administrative Order 2020-004 ADM, the procurement policy as set out in attachment 3 of the report. I so move.
I'll second that, Councillor Russell.
Seconded, Councillor Russell. Councillor Mason.
I don't have any strong I'm very happy to see this here. I don't have any critique or criticism. I think this is another critical piece of moving us forward with creating higher standards that are required for the smaller council and the larger municipality that we become. And I appreciate staff turning this around so quickly. These are definitely areas of concern prior to the last election. And I think that this clarity helps councillors and the public understand where those lines should be. And I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Anybody else on this? I see Councillor Blackburn's joined us. Good morning, Councillor.
Hello, thank you all.
Anybody else? If not, ready for the question? Ready for the question? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? That is carried. Thank you. We will move to 12.1.3. This is GBA plus training for municipal staff. Who would like to take us away on this one?
Well, I sit on the Women's Advisory Committee that brought this forward, so I can put this on the table.
Thank you,
I move that the Executive Standing Committee recommend that Halifax Regional Council direct the Chief Administrative Officer to 1, incorporate the federal government's Gender-Based Analysis Plus, GBA Plus, into future council orientation programs, and 2, circulate the federal government's GBA Plus training to all current members of Halifax Regional Council and provide any additional support required to those who complete the training program. I so move.
Second, Tim.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor. Anything on it, Councillor Blackburn?
No, this is
on a point of clarification. I think she just read 12.1.4 and not 12.1.3.
Oh, terribly sorry.
Thank you, Councillor Hensby.
Direct Chief so I so move then that the Executive Standing Committee recommend that Halifax Regional Council direct the Chief Administrative Officer to 1, add the federal government's Gender-Based Analysis Plus, GBA Plus training program to the elective course offerings within the corporate training catalog, and 2, promote participation in this course to all employees in leadership roles and those involved in policy and program development. I so move.
Seconded by the Deputy Mayor. Councillor Blackburn.
Sorry about that, folks. Yes, so this did come from the Women's Advisory Committee. It was training that we all took. It takes about 2 hours or so. It's online, but it definitely is well worth it. And the Women's Advisory Committee saw, merit in having all employees take this online course just to just sort of broaden their knowledge of gender issues and equity issues as well. So very pleased that this is moved forward to the Executive Standing Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Russell.
Thank you very much. One very quick question, I hope. There are a lot of trainings that are required or are available. I'm wondering about a refresher or any refresher training. This is something that would be able to happen once if someone was hired today and if they're still working with us in 30 years. Chances are a lot of things would have changed with it. So I'm just wondering if there is an opportunity to have courses, this one or others, flagged as refreshers. Thank you.
Okay, we have Tracy Jones Grant and Caroline Hemstock with us, I believe. Ms. Jones Grant, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor and councillors. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the councillor, thank you very much for the question. When it comes to refresher training, that is determined by our human resource department. So they determine sort of what the ongoing and consistent training is specific to GBA Plus, because we know things will change over time as they do with all of the training that we provide through the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, African Nova Scotian Affairs. It would be up to us to continually stay in contact with HR, our training division, and make them aware that this needs to be a refresher, and then they would determine how that would happen. Also, just for your awareness, alongside the federal training that's available, we are currently developing an internal module for gender-based analysis plus training.
Councillor Russell says thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you, Tracy. Anybody else? Ready for the question, colleagues, on 12.1.3? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those in opposition? That's carried. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Blackburn. 12.1.4, GBA plus training for all regional council members. You seemed pretty pumped about this one, Councillor Blackburn. Why don't I go back to you?
She appears to be frozen. On
She's frozen.
Yeah, it's a lovely smile, but Councillor Blackburn, are you with us? Wait, this is why we got to get back into in-person meetings. We don't have these freezes and poor communications. Okay.
We still have poor communications, but I can bring that forward if you'd like.
Thank you, Councillor.
I can also think of a couple of staff who have frozen when the camera went on them, but
there we go.
Slightly different.
So I would like to move that the Executive Standing Committee recommend that Halifax Regional Council direct the Chief Administrative Officer to 1, incorporate the federal government's gender-based analysis plus GBA plus into future counselor orientation programs, and 2, circulate the federal government's GBA plus training to all current members of Halifax Regional Council and provide any additional support required to those who complete the training program.
Second again.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor. Councillor Russell, anything to that?
I'm looking forward to seeing this. I've heard a lot of good and beneficial things about it, and so I'm looking forward to seeing the training, and I hope it goes through. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Question.
Ready for the question, colleagues? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. Thank you. I'm wondering if we should try to get a hold of Councillor Blackburn. She certainly seems to be frozen.
I did, sir. She got kicked out. She's logging back in now.
Okay. Just going to give her a second to get back on, perhaps.
I think I'm back.
Welcome back.
Oh, sorry about that. Everybody
No problem.
wrote my screen went black. All right.
We're moving ahead, Councillor, but we're going to 12.2. 12.1.4 was defeated. No, it passed. We're going to,
all right.
going to 12.2.1, anti-Asian racism, gender-based data collection. This is coming from Women's Advisory. Do you want to take that one, Councillor Blackburn?
Sure thing. Thank you. I move that the Executive Standing Committee recommend that Regional Council request the Chief Administrative Officer through the UN Safe Cities and Safe Public Spaces program to consider the impact of anti-Asian racism on women's experiences of safety in public spaces and explore ways to identify and collect race-based data about these experiences. I so move.
Seconded.
Seconded by Councillor Morse. Thank you. Councillor Blackburn.
Thank you very much. And yes, this did come out of Women's Advisory Committee. Our members received a fantastic presentation on anti-Asian racism. And while the member was doing their work to collect data for the presentation, it was interesting to note that there was no real breakdown in the statistics locally as to the source of the violence, whether it be anti-Asian, anti-Black, anti-gay racism. So there was just sort of a suggestion that we collect this information to give us a greater sense and scope of the issues that are out there facing our residents. So that's what led to this this motion that's before us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Anybody else on this? Ready for the question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. 12.2.1, 12.2.2, information resources to support safety of women of Asian descent. Councillor Blackburn, do you want that one too?
Sure thing. I move that the Executive Standing Committee request a staff report on the provision of information resources to support the safety of women of Asian descent in public spaces in the Halifax region. I so move.
Seconded, Councillor Russell.
Seconded by Councillor.
Thank you very much. Again, this came out of the same discussion, looking for more information more than anything, just support systems that are in place, and just to further the data that is available to help support women of Asian descent. We're seeing that more and more that women of Asian descent are being targeted with racism and violence all over North America. So just wanting to get ahead of that with some information so we can help support them best we can. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to once again thank Christine Jing Yang, who made the presentation at Executive last month that brought these issues up. Hate across, I guess, the world, but certainly in Canada, there's been such an increase in hate language, hate actions, hate violence, and certainly anti-Asian hate and anti-Asian women hate is a real issue. So I'm appreciative of Christine coming and people taking up the challenge. So ready for the question on 12.2.2. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. Thank you, Councillor Blackburn. We'll move to Accessibility Advisory Committee, which is the Accessibility Advisory Committee 2021 Work Plan.
I can certainly move that since I'm on the committee.
Councillor Russell.
Thank you. I move that the Executive Standing Committee review and approve the Accessibility Advisory Committee 2021 Work Plan as set out in attachment 1 of this report.
Seconded by Councillor Mason. Councillor Russell.
This is just something that we have been discussing at the committee, and these are the chunks that we feel we can accomplish this year. So would appreciate endorsement of it.
Any other questions? Ready for the question? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh, Kathryn had a question there.
Oh,
Kathryn? Councillor Morse, sorry.
Sorry, I was a little slow there. Yeah, I'm just looking for a bit of context for this work plan. Is the goal to help us prioritize sidewalks for improvements in the future, or is it more defined than that? I guess I'm
discussion-
wondering, sorry, I'm wondering if it's going to address the 600 sidewalks that are in the queue for construction, or is it about repairs mostly, or what is the goal of the work plan?
Go ahead, Councillor Russell, if you're familiar with that work.
This would be in the discussions that we've had. It is not addressing the current state of the sidewalks. It's addressing future state and making them more accessible. So it's not looking at retrofitting the sidewalks. It's looking at the design and things like that of future sidewalks. If I'm remembering this item correctly.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Ready for the question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Councillor Russell, you're on the Accessibility Advisory Committee?
I am, yes.
Awesome. Okay. Appreciate that. That's great.
Councillor Daigle, Gammon, and I are on it.
Beautiful. Okay. Members of Standing Committee updates, none, no motions. As we look in camera, does somebody want to move 14.1, the approval of the minutes of May 31st?
I'm happy to move that, Mayor.
Deputy
Seconded.
Mayor,
Seconded.
seconded by Councillor Hensby. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Then that is carried. The remaining three items, I think we need to go in camera on. So somebody, I'll just see if there's any notices of motion. Next meeting is August the 16th. So if somebody wants to move that, we'll go in camera to consider the in-camera items. We'll go over to the in-camera session.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Russell, seconded by Councillor Morse. All in favor?
Before we do,
Aye.
before we
Go ahead,
do, before we move in camera, is anybody listed for public participation today?
Nothing's been signaled.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll go to the other side, folks. Back where some of you started. Folks, okay, we do 14.2.2 and 14.2.3 first, and then I'll we can do 14.1. Are we okay with that? Using myself on that issue. We can speak now and start the whole piece.
Mic is on? My apologies. I can grab the motion for you. Just multitasking here. My apologies.
One establishment of pursuant to section 6.4 of the public appointment policy consisting of a member from the nominated body, chief administrative
Mr. Mayor, I believe we are back from in camera. We have quorum. So on your mark, we can resume the meeting.
Okay. Whenever you, I've got, is this, are we still in, it's still listed as in camera?
Yep, we're just, there we go. You are live. We can proceed. Thank you.
Okay, we're back, colleagues. Thank you. We will ratify the work that was done in camera. First item is 14.2.1, in which I'm recused. Who's taking that? Deputy Mayor?
Yes, I'm happy to move that, Mr. Mayor, that the Executive Committee 1 adopt the recommendations as outlined in the private and confidential staff report dated July 5th, 2021, and 2, direct the staff report dated July 5th, 2021 be maintained as private and confidential. So move.
Second. Question.
Ready for the question, colleagues? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Carried. 14.2.2.
Mr. Mayor, I'll take that one.
Councillor Hinsby.
That the Executive Standing Committee, 1, adopt the recommendations outlined in the private and confidential staff report dated June 2nd, 2021, and 2, direct that the staff report dated June 2nd, 2021 be maintained as private and confidential.
Seconded, Councillor Russell.
Seconded, Councillor Russell. Ready for the question, colleagues?
Question.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. 14.2.3, Councillor, was it Blackburn?
Mason.
Mason? Councillor Mason.
I move that the executive, oh, wait. Oh, it might have been Councillor Blackburn. I've lost track. Go ahead, Councillor Blackburn. Sorry about that.
Oh, this is,
Don't say it.
I know.
Doesn't matter. Whichever one it is, you can do it.
All right. Do we have the motion in the chat?
I'll have it there in just a second, Councillor.
Perfect. There we
There
go.
now.
I move that the Executive Standing Committee 1 adopt the recommendations as outlined in the private and confidential staff report dated July 8th, 2021, and 2, direct the staff report dated July 8th, 2021 be maintained as private and confidential. I so move.
Seconded, Councillor Russell.
Thank you. Ready for the question, colleagues? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? That's carried. There's no added items. Notices of motion we asked before. Public participation was none. Next meeting is August 16th. Just while we're in this meeting, Executive Committee Governance, I'm going to ask Mr. Traves. This is an off-the-cuff question. John, are you there?
Can you get an off-the-cuff answer?
John, good to see you. Listen, how soon do you think we're going to be able to be back in our council chamber for committee meetings first, and then potentially council meetings? A little more tricky, but in terms of committee meetings, how quickly can we be back in the chamber, do you think?
So for the committee meetings, which are smaller sized and can spread out, the challenge is trying to meet in a large enough space, which is a challenge for council. But for a committee, I think we're pretty close given where we are in vaccinations. And I know the clerk's office is working on that, in particular for committees. One of the challenges we haven't quite sorted out is the public's ability to attend and to see that, and how we would manage the number of people in the gallery. So it is under consideration now. We're working towards that. And there's also changes to the administrative order, the COVID-19 administrative order, which would allow us to jump on this as soon as possible as well, that are coming to council shortly.
On that point, do we require to hear from the minister in regards to the state of emergency or the lifting of some of the conditions?
No, basically we're watching weekly the changes from the Chief Medical Officer of Health in terms of what the restrictions are on meeting size and whether or not there's a requirement for masks and the number of people. And so right now it's a capacity issue in terms of the size of a room, and also the distance between the participants, which is our biggest challenge given the size of the historic council chamber and a full council. But as a committee, which is smaller members and we're able to spread out. But there's also the functionality that we have to work through in terms of the technology doesn't allow us to do both. It's either a virtual meeting or it's a meeting in the chambers, given the technology limitations in the chambers.
Okay, I don't want to get into a long discussion on that, but and I did catch you off guard, but certainly I'm hoping that we're going to be back in there soon. I think we can handle the throngs of people that come to watch executive easily enough, but I recognize that not all committees are the same. And I do think committees are different than council, but it would be great if we could start to meet safely in public. Any last words?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. We are adjourned. Thank you, folks. Next meeting, August 16th.
See you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.